Hello, Scorpio. Thank you for joining me. Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Ascendant. My name is Donna Page, and welcome to your 2019 astrology overview. As a Scorpio, you are ruled by both Pluto as the modern ruler and Mars as the traditional ruler. So I'm going to start with those two energies because they're very important this year. First off, Pluto is going to be dancing between 20 degrees of Capricorn and 23 degrees of Capricorn. These are, the eclipses will be in Capricorn Cancer, so the eclipses are extra important this year. I'll get back to those. But the Pluto energies at 20 Capricorn is on what's called the node, heliocentric node of Pluto. It's Pluto's own node. And the 23 degrees of Capricorn is Saturn's own node. So there's this double intensity that's going on with your modern ruler planet. And of course, Saturn is in Capricorn too. It's leading up to this huge conjunction in 2020. It is an extremely important time for a rethinking or reformulating your view of the world, how you see the world, how you communicate with the world, how you share your ideas with the world. Now, Mars. What about Mars? It's not going retrograde this year. However, it is going to go out of bounds. And out of bounds is when a planet goes beyond the normal ecliptical line. I think of it as escaping outside of the fence. Like if you've ever had a very rambunctious dog and are supposed to stay within a fenced yard and it gets out, it's like I'm free, right? So there's a freedom that happens and cannot play by the own rules. It's like I get to escape, or a teenager sneaking out of the window at night to go do their own thing, right? So Mars will go out of bounds April 20th. And April's a very intense month anyways, because that's when Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter are stationing, which makes them extra strong. So Mars goes out of bounds on April 20th, the same day that Pluto goes retrograde. And it goes out of bounds at 13 degrees of Gemini, which is the heliocentric node of Uranus. So there's this intensity. What that means is that it's a very chaotic energy. It's like, let me escape, double, double, double. And it's in your solar 8th house, which is natural for Scorpio, about connecting with other people and wanting to share with other people or not even want to. So wherever you might feel trapped, perhaps trapped in some way that you want to escape, wherever you feel that you're bound by something that you no longer want to be bound by. And it could have to do with money. There's a couple of things around finances this year. It could have to do with commitment with other people, commitment to, whatever you feel that I don't want to owe that anymore. I don't owe you anything. I don't want to feel owed anymore. And then it continues with this energy all the way up until the middle of June. And then when it kind of goes back into the fence, goes back and does its normal thing, is actually conjunct the north node of the moon. And that represents where we can be attracted to go to, where we can grow. And that will happen in your place of your chart that is about learning. It's about traveling. It's about sharing and teaching your ideas with others. So it's pretty cool, pretty intense. Now let's go back to the beginning. January 6th, solar eclipse in Capricorn, which is the same day that Uranus goes direct in Aries. And that's a very, two months of that. Planets will be direct for 2 months. And which is unusual to have all the planets direct. And for the next 2 months, Uranus will be in Aries, reminding us of what was going on the last 7 years about individuating, living our life according to what our standards are, not what somebody else thinks we should or should not do. And also on the 6th, Venus is what's called her greatest elongation, which is farthest away from the sun. So she's very bright in the sky, and she's a morning sky. She is a morning star, and being able to be seen in the morning before the sun rises. And that is the time when Venus is the energy of Venus, which is about what we love, what we value, what we desire. It's about going after what we want, being a little bit more aggressive in terms of not being shy about, and after all, you're a Scorpio, how when you want something, you figure out how to get it. So it is about going after that. Now, the main duality we have going on this year is between this strong Pluto, Saturn, and Capricorn realistic side of life. Some fear can creep up in society, and the Jupiter Neptune square that happens 3 times: January, middle of January, middle of June, and then September 21st. And that energy of those squares, they're both Jupiter and Neptune are in their ruling signs, Pisces and Sagittarius. And that energy, it does not care about I call it the 3D world, the world of material, the world of paying the bills, the world of being responsible, the world of being, realistic. No, true, there's only so much time and there's only so much this and that. No, these energies wants us to dream, not to be limited, not to settle, to use our visualization skills. So that there's the battle in the energy, and it's very divisive, and you can see it play out in the world. And which side do you want to be on? Now, the Jupiter Neptune for you is happening between your financial money house, but it's also the house of your own talents. And Jupiter wants you to be able to expand on them and take the opportunity. So many times when we have a Jupiter energy, it's like, oh, that will always be there. Well, that's not true. It may not always be there, an opportunity to go to some course or lecture or something to develop a part of your natural talent. So take advantage of that. That's what Jupiter says. And then Neptune being your 5th house of creativity, it probably has to do with how much money do I want to spend on developing my creativity this year and my own spiritual development. Neptune is a spiritual sign. And how much, and it is in your 5th house of romance and love affairs. Yes, don't fool yourself around whether or not it's realistic, right? Because that could be part of it. But to bring a little romance into your life, to bring a little bit of the dream into your life, to bring the creativity into your life, that's very, very strong. The Mercury retrogrades will be in the water signs this year, and the water signs for you are, of course, your water sign, so that's in sync with you. But they are in your 1st, 5th, and 9th houses, and those houses in your chart are the we judge things as human beings, so they can be judged as the easier, the better houses. So, but it's an intuitive. Mercury going retrograde in the water signs is an intuitive, bringing from the consciousness, higher consciousness down, and also from the subconscious down to work with the earth plane. And they will highlight, the first one is in your 5th house of creativity in March. It will, what is it that I want to bring, to this earth plane in my creativity? And you listen to your intuition, especially if it has to do with dating. The second one in July starts in Leo, on a fire sign, but most of the time it will be in Cancer, the water sign in your 9th house. Is that really being able to connect with the emotional side of being able to share your ideas with each other, coming and in a deep way. And it's also a travel thing, but travel to a place where you might meet with home, feel like it's home, or bring plenty of your own homey stuff when you're traveling, so you do feel at home, or go to places or be with somebody that feels like going home to them. I really feel like when I travel with you or when I go and visit you, I feel like I'm coming home. And then in November, Mercury will go retrograde in your own sign in Scorpio. So that is that sense of coming back home to yourself. So these are the main energies that are going on this year. The eclipse patterns, of course, as I mentioned, are extremely important because that is where Pluto and Saturn are in Capricorn, and the other side of the eclipse in Cancer will be opposite it, emphasizing once again your third and ninth house about learning. There's a lot about learning and sharing and training and teaching, and it's a cycle, of receiving and giving out and receiving and giving out. And if you feel that you are stuck in some way, I want something, how do I get it? Then the message from the universe would be develop your talents, definitely. Use your intuition to get in touch with that, the creative side of you. And what is it that you can learn that can be applied to what it is that you want to be known for and what it is that you want to share with the world. Have a very happy New Year. Again, thank you for joining me.